Welcome to What the Washington, a historical, social, and political tour of the weirdest state in the nation. My name's Mikayla.
My name's Matt.
Today we're going to be talking about one of the fastest growing games in the United States, if not the globe. And it was invented in Bainbridge Island in 1965. 57 years later, in 2022, it was named the official sport of Washington State. It's pickleball. Matt's favorite game.
Why did you have to say that? Why did you have to call me out like that?
His favorite game, I think.
It's not my favorite game.
Have you ever played it?
I have played pickleball.
Oh, did you not like it?
I didn't.
So Matt's a professional hater.
No.
I've never played pickleball.
I played it in PE, and I played it during our 9th grade session of racket sports, and I absolutely despised every second of it because we weren't playing badminton. Because
Matt is a badminton fiend.
I love badminton.
And if it's not badminton, he's not interested in it.
Yeah, it's like Nerf or nothing.
Yeah.
It's not badminton, it's nothing.
We have a lot of pickleball friends.
Yeah, we do.
I can think of one in particular who really, really enjoys it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never played. There's some classes I could take at the school, but I haven't done so. I don't really have an interest in it. But maybe after you learn the deep history, the deep lore of pickleball today, you'll have more interest in doing it, Matt. Maybe you'll have a deeper appreciation.
I bet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go into it, and then I guess we can organically comment. Yeah, the thing about pickleball is it really is getting everywhere. Like, I introed it as the fastest growing sport in the nation, and I have statistics to back that up. It's crazy. But around here, you just see it popping up in every single gym that there is, I think, is the... Anyway, we're gonna get into all this, but, I'll start out with the history of pickleball. Matt will include his color commentary as we go. I'm sure he'll talk a lot of mess about pickleball as we progress. That rhymed. Thank you. I'll take applause for that. But I'm going to start off with the history, and then we'll go into sort of the cultural phenomenon that is pickleball, how to play, all that good stuff. Maybe we'll find a newfound appreciation for pickleball. I'll probably have to hit up to have her take me out pickleballing.
A name drop, wow.
Well, you can cut out her name. You protect her privacy. Just have a long beep out in there.
Place the long censor track over it.
So, originally invented as a children's backyard game. Well, actually, let me ask you, what do you know about pickleball? Besides what I've told you.
Pickleball is kind of like large-scale ping pong.
Yeah.
And I knew it came from Washington because my PE teacher was like, it's from here, you should enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know who made it. I've never gone out of my way to find out. Because I just didn't like how it played. Okay. You know? You get used to a thing and get good at something, and then out of nowhere they're like, hey, here's another sport that's not as fun, and...
Yeah, that's pretty much what I knew about it. I knew, obviously, I've seen it. I know, it's basically a tennis-like game. Ping pong is very accurate. And I knew it was created on Bainbridge, which I don't know if many people know. I feel like if you're into pickleball, you know, but I don't know if the average person knows.
I think that the annual problem that happens anytime something gets made in Washington is people assume that it's Seattle. When they go, oh, it's made on this, right. It's in Seattle.
I mean, I don't know if people know outside of pickleball fans, if they are just the casual observer of pickleball. I don't know if they know it was made in Washington.
I never knew there was a diehard pickleball stand.
You absolutely know some.
Man.
Anyway, okay. Originally invented as a children's backyard game nearly 60 years ago, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the U.S. for the last 3 years, growing 223% since 2021. So everybody got into pickleball after the pandemic, apparently. Or, like, sort of during, but, like, mostly, like, when you were allowed outside again, they were like,
I want to play
pickleball.
this child's game.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's according to Pickleheads. That's
Pickleheads. I was going to say, we're going to start seeing professional pickleball leagues pop up. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Oh, man. I was just kidding.
Yeah, no, there is. There's actually, we'll get into it. There's, I think, 2 official pickleball leagues.
It's going to be on Fox Sports. It's going to have the Cletus the football robot dancing, but he's going to be hitting tennis balls or racket balls instead.
There's currently more than 36 million pickleball players in the U.S. and nearly 14,000 places to play. And that's by the time that I researched this episode. It's probably surpassed that number by now. So
imagine the scene.
Yeah.
You're a kid from the inner city. Your neighborhood hasn't gotten a drop of reinvestment in decades, and then they build a pickleball court in your neighborhood.
Oh, we're going to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because pickleball does not have it. It's not, there's not retractors of pickleball. There are some.
I would assume that I'm not the only one.
Only hater of pickleball out there.
I would assume.
Okay, so in the 12-month period between August 2021 and August 2022, YouGov performed a study that said 14% of Americans have played at least one game of pickleball. But what is pickleball? I'm not in that 14%. Matt is, though.
I've played it once or twice.
I would be curious what percentage of Americans know about pickleball.
That's a good question. I wouldn't be able to tell you that.
Name recognition.
I don't think a lot of them would. I think that now a lot of them would. But even still, I would say like maybe 20%.
Well, if 14...
It's got to be 20% or something.
If 14% of Americans have played at least one game, that means that like probably a third of Americans have at least heard of it. You think?
Possibly. It depends on...
I've heard of tennis and I've never played a game of tennis.
Yeah, but it's on TV. I'm thinking about things that are like bigger. Yeah, like I know what tennis is because like Serena Williams and like it's like an Olympic sport and it's like all these different things. Pickleball is kind of a thing that they gave us a little flyer for it when I was in 9th grade, and that was the last I heard of it until the pandemic started. We ended the pandemic.
I mean, we're talking about post-pandemic though.
Yeah.
Those post-pandemic numbers. Not everyone who's ever heard of pickleball has played a game of it.
Now I'm going to start sounding like an old man. It's that darn TikTok. All the kids know everything from TikTok. Not the guy who was practicing his serve with the weightlifting.
I don't know if I might have these numbers. I'm not sure because I've researched this a while ago. But I don't know which generation is most fond of pickleball, but if I had to guess, it's probably not Gen Z.
It's probably millennials.
And maybe Gen Xers.
Cursed.
I don't think boomers are into pickleball, but you never know.
I'm trying to bring...
there's that commercial...
With the old ladies.
Ladies playing pickleball, and they're boomers.
Yeah,
so
clearly boomers.
And Kim Chancellor.
There's another... and Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
There's also another commercial with a millennial going out with his dad playing pickleball, and his dad's a boomer, and his dad's like really into it.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I saw that. That was during one of the baseball games we were watching. But yeah, it was...
Are they both Washington's Lottery?
No, one is like just talking about like hanging out with your dad, or like taking like medicine or something and hanging out with your dad, something like that. But yeah, I wonder too. It to me that seems like it would explosion in popularity too.
I feel like
it's not impossible that a lot of people know about it.
I feel like saying that half the people who have heard of it have played is generous, which would be 30%.
I just think that like, also it's just it's based off of location, you know, because like I don't know if anyone in like North Philly's playing
pickleball. They might not be playing, but they may know about it.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like I don't even know if they've heard of it. You know, it's...
Why don't you call up your cousin and
because she said phone a friend.
Yeah, why don't you, as we're talking, text one of your cousins, and ask him, have you ever heard of pickleball?
I'm doing it. Doing it.
Text one of your cousins in South Carolina.
Doing it live.
Yeah.
No, I know that has heard of pickleball.
Well, that's...
No, my cousin. Yeah, my cousin She lives in a development that has that kind of a thing, but it's a development that's
but
built up.
Would she have told like?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll text a cousin and see as we're going.
Not because he lives in LA. He'll know.
He already knows. We just have the assorted list of cousins.
But what is pickleball? I'm going to explain the rules, how it's played. Pickleball is played as doubles or singles, but doubles is the most common form. And here are the basic rules. We're going to start with the serve. So number 1, serves must be performed by moving your arm in an upward arc. So, like an underhand serve. Contact with the ball must not be made above waist level. So you have to keep it in the upward arc. You have to hit it below your waist level. And the head of the paddle must not be above the highest point of the wrist at contact. Which, to me, sounds very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Like, it seems like you have to keep yourself in a weird
It's
position.
a lot of like upward swinging rather than like tennis where it just can be side or backhand.
Yeah.
Or even above head serving or hitting.
You can also drop serve. So you can either like bounce it and hit it, or you can drop serve. Mm-hmm. The serve must be made diagonally across the court. Feels a lot like Foursquare rules so far.
That's a sports league I would sign up for. I love Foursquare so much. Ace in court. I was the ace court guy for like hours of elementary school.
On your Foursquare court, like you can't do double hits where you hit it up in the air and then smack it down on someone. Yeah,
you just the internal rules and logic of Foursquare was like a mafia rule, like a murder. Like you all promised that you wouldn't break these rules, and if you did, you just get like bullied.
You get kicked out immediately.
It's like a club that you can never get back into because you cheated. King court all day, baby.
Ask Patrick if you can get a 4-sweep.
I think that's a terrible idea for like for adults.
No one would join.
No.
Okay, you start a serve on the right side of the court, and if a point is scored, you switch sides to serve on the other side of the court. Because you're serving to different people, presumably, is why you switch. And when a fault is committed, the serve goes to your partner until they commit a fault, which is when it goes to the opposing team. So you always get 2 serves on your side of the court before it switches over. Points can only be scored by the serving team. Games are typically played to 11 points, but you must win by 2, which is, fairly common with, tennis and...
Yeah, all the tennis and racket sports. Yeah. So far, the rules are pretty similar to... Except the, like, actual physical play. Mm-hmm. It sounds pretty similar to just tennis or badminton.
Yeah, except for the fact that... except for the... you can only score points when it's your serve. Oh, okay. I think that's pretty unique to pickleball.
That's unique.
I don't know about ping pong, if that's a ping pong thing, because I don't know the rules of ping pong.
I haven't played ping pong in a long time since I was like in middle school. No, or high school, so I can't remember.
So what do you already shared your thoughts. I have the prompt here. So here are some additional rules. The 2 bounce rule, which says a ball must bounce once when receiving a serve, and then must bounce again when returning the volley. So 1 bounce on each side on the court. So you can't like, I don't know what they're called when you like smack it down.
Spike it.
Is it spiking?
Yeah, when you spike a ball.
Yeah, you can't do that like you could in tennis. You have to at least get 1.
So everyone's got an opportunity to hit it, basically. Mm-hmm. And if you miss it, it's on you because you weren't even.
And then you can get more aggressive with it. There's also a non-volley zone, so you can't volley the ball within 7 feet of the net. So you can't get up right on the net like they do in tennis.
See, I don't like that. When I played badminton, that's the kind of game I used to play when we were doing doubles. Mm-hmm. I would be right up.
Mm-hmm. That's part of
very defensive.
Most net games, so it's kind of surprising. This zone is typically referred to as the kitchen. You and your body cannot cross any part of this zone when volleying, even after you've finished making contact. So you can't, like, you have your momentum carry you into the kitchen. So you can't, like, run at a ball and hit it.
Right.
And continue into the kitchen. If you do that, it's a fault.
You're giving me flashbacks of why I was, like, very aggressively against when we had to play this.
That rule in particular makes me not want to play the game.
Because that's how that's kind of how you play most games, is you let your momentum kind of carry you into certain situations.
Having not played it before, it sounds like it's very limiting your physical ability.
It sounds like I feel like if I played it now, I'd hurt myself more trying to restrain myself than when I play like badminton or tennis. Yeah. I'm very much like in,
smacking it around.
I'm feeling myself. I'm going.
So now that we know how to play, we're going to take a look at how it was made.
How did it come to be?
So the game was created on Bainbridge Island, as I previously mentioned, at the summer home of Joel Pritchard.
Pause.
Uh-huh.
Did you just say summer home?
I have literally I have brackets that says this guy is rich because his summer home is on Bainbridge.
We have to put some context clues for everyone who's not from here. Bainbridge Island is kind of like, I would consider it the Martha's Vineyard of Seattle. Mm-hmm. It's like where rich people go to get away from the city. I'm not saying that in like and I'm not saying that as like a derogatory thing or anything like that. I think like genuinely it's a beautiful area, and I went there a couple times. A friend of mine lives there, and it's a gorgeous area. I totally get that, but also I'm like, whoa. So hearing that it's a summer home, it's like, where's the winter home?
Well, do you recognize
Palm Springs?
Do you recognize that name, Joel Pritchard?
Pritchard's familiar.
Yeah. Do you want to guess what you know him from?
What do I know him from? Tech?
No.
Politics?
Yeah, he is in politics.
Was it the governor?
He was...
Or the attorney general?
No, he went to serve in the U.S. Congress and as Washington's lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant governor. Okay, that explains it. Yeah. Eating good in the neighborhood. Let's just say that much.
Pritchard and his two friends, Barney McCallum.
They just don't make names like they used to.
And Bill Bell.
They really don't make names like they used to.
The three of them together created the game.
Yo, they were cooking. They thought they were so cool making this. This is not me making fun of them. I bet you they were like, this is the coolest thing.
I just imagine these three guys, I don't know how old they were when they made this, but like sitting around drinking beers on a summer day being like, I want to play tennis or something. And they're like, well, we don't have anything, but here's this.
Yeah.
We'll like create something.
Yeah. I got a giant ping pong racket or paddle.
Yeah.
Let's try it out. I have a pizza, what do you call it? A pizza paddle.
Yeah. According to Joel Pritchard's wife, the name of the game became Pickleball after I said it reminded me of the pickle boat in Crew, where oarsmen were chosen from the leftovers of others' boats.
That's rough. That's just a rough name.
Which also, can I say, is such a rich person reference.
That's a UW reference. That's like an elite UW reference. Like
Boys in the Boat.
It's like, I'm just waiting for someone to be like, and yeah, I was taught by Coach Jarlofsson or something. How does the
other half live? We stare up on.
This is what they said. Broke boys need not apply.
Others attribute the name of pickleball to the Pritchard's family dog, Pickles.
Come on, there's too many pickles in this.
But the family says that the dog came after the game had already been named.
Interesting.
So the dog was named after pickleball and not the other way around.
Wow, they really invested in the pickleball game. I was going to guess that it was because you're drunk when you play it, and that's the only way that it could be really fun. But, that's just me.
How would that...
Like, getting pickled?
That's
a term.
Oh, yeah, because
so you're tossing back one too many mimosas and you're giggling while you're serving these little ping pong paddles.
Jennifer LaCroix?
LaCroix.
No, sorry. Jennifer
The Crow.
Can you stop? Jennifer LaCroix and Beverly Youngren, authors of the book History of Pickleball, More Than 50 Years of Fun, with an exclamation point.
I mean, it sounds awesome.
Introduced a third theory, which Bill Bell claimed he named the game because he enjoyed hitting the ball in a way that would put his opponent in a pickle. So
I really hate that.
The three of them don't agree on how the name was created. They all want a piece of the pie.
Yeah, this is what happens.
At least two of them.
This is what happens when no one writes down how the thing came to be. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, just write it down and be like, this is why we named it this.
So I think this is going to answer your where is their normal home, because shortly after the game was invented, they brought the game to Hawaii.
Oh, come on.
Because I assume that's where their...
That's the summer home.
Regular home is.
That's the winter home. Yeah, that's the winter home.
That's just presumption. I don't.
That's the winter home. Yeah, this is presumption, and that's the winter home where it's warm also winter. And there it became
known as Pickleball. Pickleball. Puka means hole in Hawaiian, which was used to refer to the ball used in pickleball, as it has numerous holes. Pickleball. Sounds like Pokeball a little bit.
I know, I didn't want to say that, but you said it, so I'll agree.
Speaking of the balls, we can talk about equipment, because at first table tennis paddles and wiffle balls were used.
I could see that.
Mm-hmm, but later the sport transitioned to the Cosm Fun Ball, because it was more durable and provided a better playing experience.
I could see that.
The paddles were replaced with larger, more durable plywood paddles. Mikayla continued to experiment with these designs, and the M2 became the paddle of choice for most early players.
They get the names like, these sounds like gun names, like the M2,
yeah.
A79.
So Mikayla would create pickleball paddles
equipment
for friends that wanted to play pickleball, basically.
Custom made. This is he said no more. I'm not trying to get my funny up. I'm trying to get my money up.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to monetize in some way, because they got very popular with their friend group very quickly.
Can you imagine this friend group though? Can you imagine being a part of this friend group? This you said this was the 60s?
Yeah, in the 60s and 70s.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. You know that was so lit. You know it was. I don't even want to say anything, but I know that was a lit friend group. That's amazing. I wish I kind of had like a be a fly in the room where everyone's like trying to get on the cutting room floor of pickleball. Like, what's that, 60 years ago?
Yeah, and as I said, it became very popular fast because the first outdoor pickleball court was created at Pritchard's friend's house.
Dang.
Bob O'Brien in 1967, 2 years after the game's invention. So, in 2 years, it had its first official court.
That's... dang.
After the court was created, the game grew in popularity among their neighbors and relatives. In 1968, Pritchard, McCallum's son David, and two friends formed Pickleball Incorporated.
Oh, wow.
And filed a trademark for pickleball in 1972.
Big money moves.
And as I said before, they sold pickleball paddles and kits so that you could play pickleball on your own. Interest continued to grow through the Pacific Northwest and into other areas by snowbirds who brought the game down to Arizona,
of course,
California,
of course,
Hawaii, as we already mentioned, and Florida. And in 2016, Pickleball Incorporated was purchased by Pickleball Central.
What is this?
Now under the name Ola LLC.
This is so funny. This is like nothing, like, you know, like if you look at I think there was I saw this documentary once where it was like kind of like the origin of sports, and it's like clearly like some sports are just like organically made over time. Like if you look at like football, not American football, but like soccer, what we call soccer. Like it's like clearly an organic thing. People could just play anywhere in the world. Like you could figure out how to play soccer or a derivative of it. It's just like in our country, it's just like, oh wow, this is doing numbers. Let me make some money off of this.
I mean, we do invent sports fairly regularly in this country, like basketball.
Yeah, basketball, gridiron football. Like it's pretty funny that like America has all sports that are basically made up. Like not like older sports, but like pickleball in this case.
Mm-hmm. In 1976 is when the first formal pickleball tournament happened.
Cue the Fox NFL theme.
Do you want to guess where this was held? Like what city? I'll give you a hint. It was
Bellevue?
Washington. No.
That was just my first.
It's a good guess.
Redmond?
No, it was held at the South Center Athletic Club in Tukwila.
Whoa, that must have been back before Tukwila became Tukwila. That must have been before Tukwila was the Tukwila we know now today.
I don't know.
Because
I don't know what Tukwila in 1976 looked like.
It must have been that. Yeah, I'm very confused by that because I would see that's what happens when you have 21st century glasses on. You automatically assume everything was the way it was, but I didn't hop out of a coconut tree.
Fall out of a coconut tree.
Fall.
It was mentioned in the July issue of Tennis Magazine for that year as well.
That's cool. That's cool.
And then in 1984, the U.S. Amateur Pickleball Association, USAPA. It sounds like the ASPCA a little bit.
Yeah.
Now known as USA Pickleball or the USAP, was formed. The first official rule book was published that year as well. And by 1990, the sport was being played in all 50 states. Do you know it's been around in all 50 states since the 90s?
No.
Isn't that crazy?
That's news to me.
Pickleball's inclusion in the 2001 Arizona Senior Olympics is seen as a significant contributor to the continued growth within the U.S. So, I know we mentioned briefly, like, who is the most popular, like, generation that plays pickleball. But the origins of pickleball are all retirees.
For old people.
Retirees and people who summer in the winter, who snowbird in the winter, and who are introducing it to their retired friends.
This is such a nightmare scenario,
through
dude.
The Arizona Senior Olympics.
For the listener, I used to live in Arizona for about 4 years. And knowing the snowbird culture, this tracks 100%, but also it's so bleak because you're just like, when you're down there in Arizona, all the restaurants are taken up, all the athletic centers are taken up, everything is filled with snowbirds. So just thinking that they were playing this while like we couldn't get into Golden Corral just makes you kind of mad.
It does make sense to me though, because as I was reading through the rules, like it doesn't seem like it not only doesn't require a whole lot of physical ability, but it actually like has rules against being too aggressive with it. So it seems like it's an easy way for people who are not as athletic as they used to be to stay active.
Yeah, and it makes sense. That makes sense, and that's kind of why I'm not gonna harsh it too much because like it makes sense in the context of what it is, but I do think that it's funny that it has rules of like you shouldn't play too hard.
Yeah. And the growth of pickleball has attracted some investors, famous investors. Do you want to guess maybe one or two of those?
Is it my boy Jeffrey Bebop?
No.
Okay, good guess or I thought it would be a good guess because he's from here or he was here.
Yeah, no, I understand. But
is it someone in that ilk?
No.
Oh man.
I think in athletics.
I'm trying to think. Charles Barkley?
No, but that's good.
Shaq.
It's similar.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Going down this road.
Shaquille O'Neal.
No.
Michael Jordan.
No. You're getting closer.
LeBron James.
LeBron
James.
Lebanon James.
Lebanon James.
That's it.
I was like, I'm thinking of old basketball players, and then Mikayla's, I mean, he technically is also an old basketball player, but like, I'm thinking like people who don't play basketball anymore, and you're just like, no, it's someone who's one of the best basketball players in the world.
Yeah, that's why I said keep going. You're getting closer.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Also Drew Brees and Gary Vaynerchuk. Do you know that?
Gary V?
Gary V.
Is that the financial speaker guy?
Gary Vaynerchuk? Let me look him up.
Is that the grind set guy?
American businessman and author. Yeah.
He's one of the grind set guys. He's the Sigma male grind set. Of course, he's invested in it. Mm-hmm. He doesn't look like a guy who could play a single inning in the outfield at all. I'm just gonna say it. Tiny legs.
LeBron James.
But LeBron James.
That's why I thought that the commercial was LeBron James instead of Cam Chancellor.
Because you read this script.
I knew he was invested
That's
in
crazy, though. I mean, it makes sense. He invests in a lot of stuff, so.
Yeah.
But that's still funny. It is, I mean, it's expanding very rapidly, so.
Mm-hmm. 2 pro pickleball tours formed in 2019. They are the Association of Pickleball Professionals, APP. And the Pickleball Professionals Association, PPA.
The heavy hitters.
I feel like there's like a Romeo and Juliet story somewhere in there, I'm sure. They probably have so much beef.
The drama is pretty steep.
A professional pickleball league, so not an association, but a league, or not a tour, but a league. The MLP, Major League Pickleball.
MLP, the Major League Pickleball.
Major League Pickleball formed in 2021 and in 2020.
I'm sorry.
And in 2022, a senior professional league, the National Pickleball League (NPL), was formed.
You're giving me so many hits to my sanity points.
Wait. Listen to this. This is so baseball coded. You ready for
All
this?
All right, let's go.
In 2023, the PPA and the MLP merged to become the United Pickleball Association, the UPA.
This is so cursed.
Yeah.
Honey, I'm wondering what the salary cap is looking like
pickleball.
Pickleball. Hey, is it going to be like, when you're tuning into like weird stuff on ESPN, like ESPN 52, and then it's like after the cornhole special, it's the game of the United Pickleball League.
Probably, yeah. You're probably ESPN like 4.
Yeah, like the one that has like the weird stuff on it. Mm-hmm. I will say, I can't joke too much because ESPN 4 had a professional softball league playing on it when we were.
I don't know if that was
4. Was that 4 or 3?
It might have been higher than 4.
Was it 3 or 2?
It might have been 2.
I think it was 2. You're right. Yeah, right. But I'm just saying those other channels play like.
Yeah.
Other sports that I do like.
No, I actually like all the extended ESPN universe.
Yeah,
channels.
I wish that we actually gave more love to other sports besides the ones we do. But
yeah, but
that's why. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, keep going.
I was gonna say that's why I'm trying not to go too hard against pickleball, even though I don't like it, because I'm like, if people like it. Oh my God.
You're gonna get a lot of hate for your opinion.
My stance is but it's mine. I'm not gonna say like I don't think that people shouldn't play it. I just think I shouldn't play it.
Yeah, you're just not interested.
I'm not interested in it.
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows in pickleball.
It never is.
In fact, some people hate it.
In the room. Also, in Washington, it's never sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Yeah. I think that people hate it more than you do.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I want to hear.
This is mostly due to noise complaints. Pickleball paddles make a distinct popping sound when they hit a ball, and the noise has led to many complaints from property owners surrounding pickleball courts. I'm gonna have Matt put in a pickleball sound. If you know the pickleball sound, you can already hear it. It's very. I can do it.
It's like a suction cup sound.
Yeah, it's like a.
Okay.
Sound, but I'm gonna have Matt put in an actual.
She's doing it manually, so that she's doing it manually for.
I'm gonna have Matt put in an actual pickleball noise here, so you can hear it. Mm-hmm. And once you hear it, you can kind of understand why that could be a little grating, because it's like very distinct. It's not just like a thwack of like a ball in tennis.
It's a pop. It's a pop and a thwack.
And it's loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could imagine that. I remember that part.
It's louder than most racket sports are.
Yeah. Yeah, because like what?
Tennis is loud.
Tennis is loud,
but
yeah.
not really.
Yeah.
But in 2020, I had someone playing pickleball. I used to live by a field, and you could hear the pickleball being played. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go into some details about why people hate this.
Property owners do be calling in noise complaints, though. Mm-hmm. They really do.
In September 2020, one park in Portland metro area instituted a ban on pickleball despite installing new courts 5 months earlier.
That's crazy.
Isn't that
That
so
is
funny?
Crazy. If I were a taxpayer on both sides of that, I would be mad. Because it's like, you clearly didn't even think about it. And then secondly, if you're a person who likes pickleball, and it's like, just set up noise or like times where like you can't play.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like, 1 month after the pandemic started, you get a pickleball in this, and you're like, great.
I can't wait.
I can go play pickleball outside and by myself or whatever. And then 5 months later in September, they're like, no more pickleball.
No more pickleball. I think that's kind of, that's really poor planning.
I think it's because everybody was inside all the time.
Yeah.
And so they would, anyway, I'll read my official reporting here. Residents said the noise was so loud they could not hold conversations in their home. It was so loud. And you know
they're
what?
sounding like I don't
know if I fully believe it, but I kind of believe it.
I am gonna say they're talking like the pickleball's a gun range. like I've been near gun ranges and I've heard those noises and I'm like, okay, well that's really loud. And the pickleball, I've played pickleball in a gym and it echoes pretty loud, but it's not to that extent. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because they were like close to the field.
Yeah, I don't know how close they were to this park.
I don't want to go against somebody's testimony if I don't know it completely. So,
but despite the bans, the courts were still being used.
We are going to keep playing pickleball. They said become ungovernable.
And the next year, during a city council meeting, a resident. Can I remind you, this is Portland.
I love
Portland
so City Council. Much. Portlandia was like a documentary, man.
This might be, it's a Portland metro area, so it could be like, some of the smaller towns
around
Portland,
around
but
it.
still.
Yeah.
They went to a city council meeting, and a resident claimed family gatherings were, quote, wrought with discord and physically debilitating stress, unquote, because of the noise.
Oh my goodness.
Some called the noise trauma-inducing, and honestly, sorry, after you listen to that pickleball, you understand why it's trauma-inducing.
I'm gonna say this, Mikayla, you used to live like a couple miles from the airport. And it was bad, but like...
I didn't really hear that much.
Yeah, I mean...
Not as much as Whidbey Island.
Yeah, I used to live on an area that F-18s fly, so like for me...
And everybody hates it.
Yeah, everyone hates that. But like, that's like, yeah, because it rattles your bones.
Yeah.
Like, it like makes your not dentures, your fillings. It makes your fillings rattle.
But you know what's funny is that similar complaints were also raised in 2023 by residents near a pickleball court in Nova Scotia.
See, yeah.
So this is a universal complaint about
this is
pickleball.
A problem.
This is not, only
they got the Pritchards and the Pritchard et al. Has to work on a ball that doesn't sound like you're shooting an AK-47 at like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. This is not the only reason pickleball courts are controversial. This is perhaps the one that I think has more weight in bearing to it as a complaint about pickleball is that the creation of pickleball courts often replace existing tennis or basketball courts.
Yes. What I was going to say.
Mm-hmm, and the latter is often seen as an example of gentrification, as the demographics of those who play basketball are more often people of color and working class versus pickleball players who tend to be affluent and white. Listener, you can't see this right now, but I'm pointing at myself when referring to if you like basketball or pickleball, which one do you like more?
I'm definitely, if you're going to put something in, a basketball court would be very much more appreciated than a pickleball court.
The thing is, it's much more accessible because what do you need for a basketball court? You
A
just
hoop
need a ball.
and a ball.
Well, yeah, the court comes with the hoop.
Another thing, and this is a tangent, but it's similar to what you're talking about. Like, cities up here notoriously don't put covers over their basketball courts. So that, and good drainage around their basketball courts. So during, their outdoor courts, they never put awnings or anything over them. So then water just pours onto your court, and so you can't play basketball all year. And then other sports get covers all the time. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's just, some places, I get it, like it's money thing. But Washington, it rains like most of the year. And yet they can find ways to like set up indoor or covered pickleball courts. Like, I think that's interesting. I think it's interesting. It's not the people who play pickleball's fault. It's the cities and the places that plan out
I think it's the valuing. And I think a lot of these things are like, well, these aren't being used, so we'll make it pickleball and then it will be used, but it's not being used because it's not being kept.
Well, like I just said, your basketball,
accessible.
the basketball court's covered in water half the year, and no one comes and fixes it.
Right.
Or my favorite, especially if you live in Seattle, the cops bother you in the park all the time if you're black or not white. And so you often are like, I just don't want to go to the park today. I just don't want to. And so that's another symbol. So it's like those things are interwoven, and I can see where that could be a real sticking point in a community.
Yeah, but this hasn't stopped pickleball courts from continuing to grow, as the number of outdoor public pickleball courts in the 100 most populous U.S. cities. Okay, so we're talking about the big cities.
New York, D.C.
Those have soared from 430 in 2017, so 430 in 2017. Okay. You ready for this number? In 2024, I'm gonna have you guess. Let's get a guess, Matt.
Oh, man.
What do you think in 2024 the number of pickleballs in the 100 most populous U.S. cities? How many do you think they have?
Let me guess, 1,000?
3,000.
What?
182.
3 times that?
Yeah, which is a 650% growth.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
Almost 7 times as many
we can't get
courts in 7 years.
Listener, please excuse me while I voice some frustrations. We can't get a new baseball diamond or a new basketball court with a cover on it to save our lives, and they're going to install 100,000 pickleball courts by the end of the decade. This is incredible. Yeah. Why though? Like, it's not like people in every neighborhood play pickleball.
Well, apparently.
That's impossible. That's impossible.
And that number is according to the Trust for Public Land, so you know it's accurate.
Oh, that makes my head hurt, dude.
So Matt, I'm going to have you guess now, which cities do you think have the most pickleball courts per capita?
Oof, this is going to be a hard guess. Top 5?
And yeah, sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have the 10 most populous cities here. Hold on. But to make it a little easier, it must have a minimum population of 100,000.
Okay. All right. I can do that.
So actual cities.
Real cities, not like a city outside of a large city.
You have probably heard of all but maybe one of these.
All right. New York City.
No.
Wow.
This is per capita.
Per capita. Oh, yeah. Per capita, that makes it. Chicago?
No.
Okay. Minneapolis.
No, closer, I think. More in that vein.
Detroit?
No. Not physically closer. Just
like in vibes? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Would it help if I gave you a state or an area?
give me a state.
Okay, there's 2 in Florida.
Tampa Bay?
No.
Miami?
No, these are like kind of weird. All of these are
Tallahassee.
Weird. That's close to one, but not quite.
Orlando?
No. You want me to just
Fort Lauderdale?
St. Petersburg.
Ugh.
That has 1.8 per capita. Which means there's more pickleball courts than people, right? Or no, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost one pickleball.
You said 1.8?
1.8. Oh, okay. Okay. It's per 100,000. So, okay. Let me go back to the top. So, St. Petersburg, Florida has 1.8 courts per 100,000 residents.
Per 100,000. Okay, that's still a lot.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
There's one other Florida city. You probably will not get this.
Key Largo?
No. Port St. Lucie.
Lucia?
Lucy.
Is it just Lucy?
It just says Lucy on here, but I could have written it wrong.
I've never heard of that place.
Yeah, that's the one I figured you wouldn't. Okay, so I'm just going to go down the list unless you have some.
I was going to say, you got some California ones in there?
There's one California city.
Palm Springs?
No.
Oh.
This is a place my dad used to go to often for business trips.
Sacramento?
No. South.
San Diego?
Bakersfield, California.
These are okay. Okay. We're gonna have to talk about where these are because these are wild locations.
Yeah, let me go through.
Go through them. 10. Yeah.
So in the first place is Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh my god! Oh no!
3.8 courts per 100,000.
That's so many.
Next is Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay, that's where you were saying that's the vibes were close.
Yeah, 2.3. Honolulu.
Yeah.
We talked about
it's one of the founding spots. First, yeah.
St. Petersburg with 1.8. Port St. Lucie, 1.6. Bakersfield, California, also 1.6. Here's one. Boise, Idaho, 1.5 per
There's no one
100,000.
in Idaho, bro. What?
Albuquerque, New Mexico, 1.4. Virginia Beach, Virginia, 1.2. And then St. Louis, Missouri, 1.2.
I can see St. Louis. That actually makes sense.
Yeah, only one Washington city cracks the top 20 cities that have the most populous pickleball courts per capita.
Is that Tacoma?
No. Do you want to get another guess? Do you want to guess? Which one it is? It's a large city.
South Sound, North Sound, East,
It has at least 100,000 people in it.
Okay. So I would go. Am I going to go with Bellevue?
Think about the other cities I gave you.
Vancouver?
No, it's Spokane. Spokane.
Well, this is illuminating.
Yeah.
What do all those towns mostly have in common with one another? I'll let the listener determine that.
Yeah. So, you asked me why do people like it? Well, I want to
hear why.
Yeah, apparently it's kind of affordable, because you just buy the kit and then you go. You don't have to, have a membership or whatever. I don't know. But also because of the lower impact. It's more social, can be played longer into someone's life, more accessible physically and monetarily than tennis, which is probably the big competitor, right?
Yeah.
Courts also take less space than tennis courts.
Okay.
So they can put more. It's more economical for cities to put pickleball.
I was gonna say pause. That's probably why they're like, "Ooh, here's let's do a pickleball court." Mm-hmm. Because I'll tell you what. That's why basketball courts used to be put in because they're smaller than baseball diamonds, and you don't have to maintain them as much. Well, that sucks. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Also, so this is a new stat I'm finding live here. Do you want to guess what states have the most pickleball courts per capita?
Is it
And I
Texas?
will say that the population does skew this.
Oh, okay. Is it Arizona?
No.
Is it Florida?
No. This is such a crazy number for per 100,000. It's Vermont.
Oh, yeah.
With 10 courts per 100,000 people.
That's
so many.
Wild.
Then it goes Maine, which is surprising because there's so little people. Oh, sorry, Vermont has 63 courts, and it's in the state.
Well, there's not that many people in Vermont.
Right. Yeah.
That's wild.
That's why it skews it. If you want raw numbers of how many, who has the most courts by pure number, I can give that to you. Would you like to guess on that one?
Is it California?
Yeah, it's California.
California always has more everything.
They have 666 courts.
This is kind of depressing me a little bit, but also it makes a lot of sense.
And then it's Florida, Texas, and then North Carolina.
North Carolina! Raise up! Take your shirt off!
Let me see where Washington is on this list. Washington is way low on this list. Has 220 pickleball courts. And has 2.89 per capita. So that's about halfway through the list. If we're doing it by pure number of courts, it's still pretty low on the list.
Pickleball is such a strange...
It's under Colorado, Massachusetts, Missouri, Georgia, Utah. It's it's down there. Isn't that surprising, though, that the state that created this is not, like, the most pickleball enthused
Pickleballed
state?
up. I mean, they made it the state sport, which was ridiculous.
It seems like much more popular in the sunny states.
Yeah, because you can play it outside.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why we don't have any other outdoor sports except football here.
Yep.
Because it rains too much.
So anyway, that's the overview of pickleball. Does it make you want to play pickleball, Matt?
No.
Not even once?
No. I already did it.
Pickleball, not even once.
Not even once.
I would try it. It doesn't make me particularly enthused to go out and play.
I think they make it.
pickleball.
When they made me play it in school, they try to make it a thing. And then when the state made it the state sport, I was like, okay, who's doing this?
Yeah, the leagues are making it their mission to put this into the Olympics. I think that they had either like an exhibition of it at one point, or they are trying to get an exhibition of it into the Olympics to make it an Olympic sport eventually.
Right.
I mean, ping pong is an Olympic sport, so it's possible, but the very nature of pickleball, like as we have talked about, is to be low impact so that it's not very athletically challenging, and that there's rules specifically designed to stop you from being too competitive with your play.
Yeah, I don't like any game that's like, you can't be too good.
Right. So it seems like a weird choice for Olympics. I mean, it seems weird to do professionally as well, but I have not been to a professional pickleball match or watched one before, so maybe it's more exciting than I am giving it credit for. But it is odd.
Yeah, it's a strange move. I think that there's always that, though. I mean, like, flag football made it in the LA one.
Well,
I think that's
different.
interesting, too, because it's different, one. And I think it's interesting because they try to get it, and it makes the discretionary list. And then sometimes it just never comes back because people are like, this was boring.
Yeah. I mean,
know?
there's a lot of... I feel like every year there's always core games, right?
Yes,
like,
they're not going to get rid of certain ones.
Right, they're never going to get rid of soccer. They're never going to get rid of swimming. They're never going to get rid of these other ones. But then there are some that you would think would be shoo-ins for the Olympics that they rotate out, like
Baseball.
softball, baseball.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't in this.
And those are
several
good.
Olympics.
I like those. Like, I don't think that those are bad. But then there's, like, some sports where they're, like the skateboarding, or, like,
Yeah,
they're just,
some
like...
of it's country dependent. I think some of it is definitely, like...
breakdancing.
The vibe. Like, I think breakdancing did not get included in the next year because they saw how it went. And they were like, it's not interesting. People are going to come.
We watched the Olympics, and I will say the social media response to the breakdancing event was pretty good. It was pretty funny.
Like, we cannot talk about it. We'll get on a side.
we like sports in this podcast. This is a sports friendly podcast, so we're probably going to talk about more sports, Washington sports.
I mean, we are, because you already have one planned.
It's called a setup. It's called
a teaser. It's stay tuned, and we'll talk about it later.
We're doing a couple of Seahawks episodes. We already did the Seattle Supersonics last season. We're going to do at least one Seattle Super Bowl. And I'm going to do my best sportscaster or even Monday morning angry Northeastern sports radio host broadcast. Too bad I can't do a call-in segment. That would be fun.
I'll be your caller.
Hey, just sounds like he's in his car, and you can hear the sound of the car driving as he's talking on the phone. And you're like, maybe you should put this phone down and focus on driving. Yeah, I'm really excited though, and I like this episode because it did give me knowledge about pickleball.
Some history for you.
I didn't know any of that, and so it makes sense. The pickleball complaints.
Is anything you learned today surprising?
No.
Yeah, because when I was researching it, I was also not surprised.
Yeah, nothing surprised me, but I learned, which is fine.
But if you know nothing about pickleball, and also you didn't know it started here, now you've learned something.
Yeah, I did enjoy learning about the professional leagues. That kind of gave me a little chuckle. You know, like I said, cue the NFL Fox theme. Let's get. Are you ready for some pickleball?
That's it. That's all.
That's the episode, and yeah.
Well, we'll see because you have to edit.
Yeah, and we're gonna do some. We're gonna do some memorials this season. Some tragedies that happened in the state, and we're also gonna talk about some fun stuff as well. So, very excited. And very glad to bring that to you all.
Some true crime, depending on if a certain somebody's court stuff calms down.
Yeah, it's hard to do a real.
So vague,
it's a hard to do a Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to do a true crime episode on crimes that are currently happening every day.
There are some true crime episodes that I could get into that are particularly wild, but
I think that one of them, I think you have one that is not like a bad true crime, a harmless true crime.
Oh yeah, I want to do Colton Harris more.
Yeah, if you know who that is the Barefoot Bandit.
We might be doing him this season. Rate us 5 stars or not 5 stars if you really
leave any response that is hopefully
if it's not
friendly.
5 stars, you don't have to rate it.
Yeah,
but you can.
We would prefer
on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever else you might be listening to this. You can send us ideas or I don't know, any other sort of email that you want to send us at whatthewashington@gmail.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Tell your friends about us. Share it with a friend. That's all. Keep listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll be coming back to you next 2 weeks from now.
We have some fun things planned for this season. I think that's it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.